tensions. I cannot take away this cross until they recognize its meaning. There are souls with whom I can do nothing. They are souls that are continuously observing others, but know nothing of what is going on within their own selves. They talk about others continually, even during times of grand silence, which is reserved for speaking only with me. Poor souls, they do not hear my words, their interior remains empty. They do not look for me within their own hearts, but in idle talk, where I'm never to be found. They sense their emptiness, but they do not recognize their own guilt, while souls in whom I reign completely are a constant source of remorse to them. Instead of correcting themselves, their hearts swell with envy, and if they do not come to their senses, they plunge in even deeper. A heart, which thus far is envious, now begins to be filled with hate. And they are already at the edge of the precipice. They are jealous of my gifts to other souls, but they themselves are unable and unwilling to accept them. Give me your heart. If you did not tie my hands, I would send down many punishments upon the earth. My daughter, your look disarms my anger. Although your lips are silent, you call out to me so mightily that all heaven is moved. I cannot escape from your requests, because you pursue me, not from afar, but within your own heart. My daughter, just as you prepare in my presence, so also you make your confession before me. The person of the priest is, for me, only a screen. Never analyze what sort of a priest it is that I'm making use of. Open your soul in confession as you would to me, and I will fill it with my light. Right, I'm thrice holy, and I detest the smallest sin. I cannot love a soul which is stained with sin, but when it repents, there is no limit to my generosity toward it. My mercy embraces and justifies it. With my mercy, I pursue sinners along all their paths, and my heart rejoices when they return to me. I forget the bitterness with which they fed my heart, and rejoice at their return. Tell sinners that no one shall escape my hand. If they run away from my merciful heart, they will fall into my just hands. Tell sinners that I'm always waiting for them, that I listen intently to the beating of their heart. When will it beat for me? Right, that I'm speaking through their remorse of conscience, through their failures and sufferings, through thunderstorms, through the voice of the church. And if they bring all my graces to naught, I begin to be angry with them, leaving them alone, and giving them what they want. Say the chaplet I have taught you, and the storm will cease. Through the chaplet you will obtain everything, if what you ask will be compatible with my will. I bear a special love for Poland, and if she will be obedient to my will, I will exalt her in might and holiness. From her will come forth the spark that will prepare the world for my final coming. Enter into purgatory often, because they need you there. Right, my daughter, that I'm mercy itself for the contrite soul. A soul's greatest wretchedness does not enkindle me with wrath, but rather, my heart is moved towards it with great mercy. My daughter, we are beginning the retreat. Do not worry, my daughter, the superior has given her permission. You will learn of it tomorrow morning. But we are to start the retreat today. Fear nothing. What has been forbidden to others has been given to you. The graces that are not given to other souls to discern, not even from a distance, nourish you every day, like the daily bread. Consider, my daughter, who it is to whom your heart is so closely united by the vows. Before I made the world, I loved you with the love your heart is experiencing today, and, throughout the centuries, my love will never change. My daughter, have you exhausted the subject I gave you? If so, I'll give you a new one. Today, you will read chapter 15 of the Gospel of St. John. I want you to read it very slowly. My daughter, consider the life of God, which is found in the Church for the salvation and the sanctification of your soul. Consider the use that you make of these treasures of grace, of these efforts of my love. My daughter, I want to teach you about spiritual warfare. Never trust in yourself, but abandon yourself totally to my will. In desolation, darkness and various doubts, have recourse to me, and to your spiritual director. He will always answer you in my name. Do not bargain with any temptation, lock yourself immediately in my heart, and, at the first opportunity, reveal the temptation to he confessor. Put your self-love in the last place, so that it does not taint your deeds. Bear with yourself with great patience. Do not neglect interior mortifications. Always justify to yourself the opinions of your superiors, and of your confessor. Shun murmurers like a plague. Let all act as they like, you are to act as I want you to. Observe the rulers faithfully as you can. If someone causes you trouble, think what good you can do for the person who caused you to suffer. Do not pour out your feelings. Be silent when you are rebuked. Do not ask everyone's opinion, but only the opinion of your confessor. Be as frank and simple as a child with him. Do not become discouraged by ingratitude. Do not examine with curiosity the roads down which I'll lead you. When boredom and discouragement beat against your heart, run away from yourself, and hide in my heart. Do not fear struggle. Courage itself often intimidates temptations, and they dare not attack us. Always fight with the deep conviction that I'm with you. Do not be guided by feeling, because it is not always under your control, but all merit lies in the will. Always depend upon your superiors, even in the smallest things. I will not delude you with prospects of peace and consolations. On the contrary, prepare for great battles. Know that you are now on a great stage, where all heaven and earth are watching you. Fight like a knight, so that I can reward you. Do not be unduly fearful, because you are not alone. My daughter, today consider my sorrowful passion in all its immensity. Consider it as if it had been undertaken for your sake alone. My daughter, consider the rule and the vows which you have offered to me. You know how highly I value them. All the graces that I have for the souls of religious are connected with the rule and the vows. Today, my daughter, for your reading you shall take chapter 19 of St. John's Gospel, and read it, not only with your lips, but with your heart. My daughter, I want to instruct you on how you are to rescue souls through sacrifice and prayer. You will save more souls through prayer and suffering than will a missionary through his teachings and sermons alone. I want to see you as a sacrifice of living love, which only then carries weight before me. You must be annihilated, destroyed, living as if you were dead in the most secret depth of your being. You must be destroyed in that secret depth where the human eye has never penetrated. Then will I find in you a pleasing sacrifice, a holocaust full of sweetness and fragrance. And great will be your power for whomever you intercede. Outwardly, your sacrifice must look like this: silent, hidden, permeated with love, imbued with prayer. I demand, my daughter, that your sacrifice be pure and full of humility, that I may find pleasure in it. I will not spare my grace, that you may be able to fulfill what I demand of you. I will now instruct you on what your holocaust shall consist of, in everyday life, so as to preserve you from illusions. You shall accept all sufferings with love. Do not be afflicted, if your heart often experiences repugnance and dislike for sacrifice. All its power rests in the will, and so these contrary feelings, far from lowering the value of the sacrifice in my eyes, will enhance it. Know that your body and soul will often be in the midst of fire. Although you will not feel my presence on some occasions, I will always be with you. Do not fear, my grace will be with you. My daughter, in this meditation, consider the love of neighbor. Is your love for your neighbor guided by my love? Do you pray for your enemies? Do you wish well to those who have, in one way or another, caused you sorrow or offended you? Know that whatever good you do to any soul, I accept it, as if you had done it to me. Now you shall consider my love in the blessed sacrament. Here, I'm entirely yours, soul, body, and divinity, as your bridegroom. You know what love demands, one thing only: reciprocity. My daughter, have you any difficulties in this retreat? Today, for your spiritual reading, you will take the Gospel of St. John, chapter 21. Let it feed your heart more than your mind. My daughter, my favor rests in your heart. When on Holy Thursday I left myself in the Blessed Sacrament, you were very much on my mind. For you, I'm mercy itself, therefore I ask you to offer me your misery and this very helplessness of yours, and, in this way, you will delight my heart. My daughter, know that my heart is mercy itself. From this sea of mercy, graces flow out upon the whole world. No soul that has approached me has ever gone away unconsoled. All misery gets buried in the depths of my mercy, and every saving and sanctifying grace flows from this fountain. My daughter, I desire that your heart be an abiding place of my mercy. I desire that this mercy flow out upon the whole world through your heart. Let no one who approaches you go away without that trust in my mercy which I so ardently desire for souls. Pray as much as you can for the dying. By your entreaties, obtain for them trust in my mercy, because they have most need of trust, and have it the least. Be assured that the grace of eternal salvation for certain souls in their final moments depends on your prayer. You know the whole abyss of my mercy, so draw upon it for yourself, and especially for poor sinners. Sooner would heaven and earth turn into nothingness, than would my mercy not embrace a trusting soul. My daughter, let three virtues adorn you in a particular way: humility, purity, and intention and love. Do nothing beyond what I demand of you, and accept everything that my hand gives you. Strive for a life of recollection, so that you can hear my voice, which is so soft that only recollected souls can hear it. Return to your room, for I will be waiting for you there. My daughter, I want you to write now, because that walk would not have been in conformity with my will. How very much I desire the salvation of souls. My dearest secretary, write that I want to pour out my divine life into human souls and to sanctify them, if only they were willing to accept my grace. The greatest sinners would achieve great sanctity, if only they would trust in my mercy. The very inner depths of my being are filled to overflowing with mercy, and it is being poured out upon all I have created. My delight is to act in a human soul and to fill it with my mercy and to justify it. My kingdom on earth is my life in the human soul. Write, my secretary, that I myself am the spiritual guide of souls, and I guide them indirectly through the priest, and lead each one to sanctity by a road known to me alone. When, in heaven, you see these present days, you will rejoice, and will want to see as many of them as possible. I'm not surprised, my daughter, that you cannot understand this now, because your heart is overflowing with pain and longing for me. Your vigilance pleases me. Let my word be enough for you, it will not be long now. My daughter, all those sins you intended to confess are not sins in my eyes. That is why I took away your ability to tell them. See, I have left my heavenly throne to become united with you. What you see is just a tiny part, and already your soul swoons with love. How amazed will your heart be when you see me in all my glory. But I want to tell you that eternal life must begin already here on earth through Holy Communion. Each Holy Communion makes you more capable of communing with God throughout eternity. My daughter, your love compensates me for the coldness of many souls. I'm dwelling in your heart as you see me in this chalice. I want you to become like a knight experienced in battle, who can give orders to others amid the exploding shells. In the same way, my child, you should know how to master yourself amid the greatest difficulties, and let nothing drive you away from me, not even your falls. Most pleasing to me is this preparation with which you have received me into your heart. Today, in a special way, I bless this your joy. Nothing will disturb that joy throughout the day. You are a living host, pleasing to the Heavenly Father. But reflect, what is a host? A sacrifice.